answers, a reorder paragraph, a fill in the blanks, and a reading and writing fill in the blanks. This is the typical order that you will receive your PTE in. However, sometimes they reverse the order. So in fact, you start down here and then you go up. But it doesn't really matter what order you get. As long as you know how to answer these questions, well, it's more than that, actually. I've got to be completely honest with you. Pte Reading is all about vocabulary, not all about. It's largely about vocabulary. When I did the Pte, I noticed that it does ask you about particular words, like fill in the blanks, reading and writing fill in the blanks, multiple choice single answer to a large degree, and multiple choice multiple answers. It's really a reorder paragraph's different. It's not so much vocabulary, it's more sentence flow and understanding of overall meaning. But a lot of these tasks are testing your vocabulary. If your vocabulary is weak, you need to build it up. Doesn't matter how much you understand the E2 methods, if you don't have the words, you're going to struggle. All right, enough whinging from me. You need to build your vocabulary. I'll get to Q&A at the end. You can ask me how to build your vocabulary. Let's talk about time management. But while we do that, I just need to get something. Hold on. I need to bring up my little drawing tool. Where is it? It's called Sword Screen Ink. There it is. Beautiful. Beautiful. And we're back. All right. And I've got my little drawing tool here, which is good because I need that one. And I need it in red. I needed it about that thick. Sweet. So, time management, 15 to 20 questions in total. You're going to have between 32 and 41 minutes. What does that mean? Well, it means that for multiple choice single answer, you're going to have 2 or 3 of these. You're going to spend about 2 minutes on each. For multiple choice multiple answers, same, you'll get 2 or 3, but spend a bit longer on those because usually the text is longer and usually you have more answer options to choose from. Reorder paragraphs, 2 or 3 of these, spend about 2 minutes on them. Fill in the blanks, you'll get about 4 or 5. They're pretty quick. You can do those in about 1.5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. These ones are probably the longest. They are the longest, actually. Reading and writing fill in the blanks, you'll get 5 or 6. Spend a good 2.5 minutes on them. So that's the kind of durations that you should be aiming for while you do your reading. In this one, I'm going to time you so you know how long you're going for, okay? Let's get straight to it. I want you to do multiple choice, choose single answer. Let's first think about the method. This is what it's going to look like on test day. The method is this. You need to understand the question prompt. It's absolutely critical. So we go back here. This is critical. If you don't get this, you're not going to get these, right? You need to understand this because you need to understand what to read for. Fine. Then what you need to do, number 2, is connect the question prompt to the answer options. What do I mean by that? I mean this, actually. Whoops. I mean this. Let me go back. Connect the question prompt to the answer options. So you read this, you understand it, it's asking for the opinion. Then you read, you need to ask yourself, what's the opinion of this one? What's the opinion of this one? What's the opinion of this one? And what's the opinion of this last one? When you've understood that, you can then move to the text and you can read it. You can see that this is quite short, so you should, number 3, deep read the text. Now what you'll have to do in this one is, people's memories are like goldfish memories, and that's normal. You're going to have to read the question prompt, read the text, read the question prompt, read the answer options. You're going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. That's completely normal until you just solidly decided which one the answer is. Cool, let's just do it. Here we go. Away you go. All right, that's 2 minutes. I'll give you another 30 seconds. This is a pretty short one. Right, let's have a look at that chat, see what's happening here. Oh, somebody's chosen A and C, which is impossible. It's a single answer. All right, all right. Looks like most people have chosen B. Okay, Ahmad's pretty confident about that. Let's go and have a look at this. Right, so what do we do when we encounter a multiple choice single answer on test day? Well, we read this, because what are we doing? We need to find out why we're reading this text. And it says, which of the following, meaning A, B, C, or D, most accurately summarizes the opinion of the author? So we're looking for the opinion of the author. Now, what is the opinion? Well, let's look at the answer options, because we need to connect the question prompt to the answer options. So the opinion is the field. You'll notice that it's all about the field and the field. Okay, so we found the opinion. Now the opinion is going to be about the field. It's characteristically devoted. What does that mean? I don't know. Or is the opinion that the field is nascent yet promising? Is the opinion that the field is increasingly common? Or is the opinion that the field is conceptually proven? So the opinion, what's the opinion there? Okay, so let's go through and we're going to have to eliminate incorrect ones. First of all, the field is characteristically devoted. If we look here, we can read 3D model printing of patients' hearts has become more common in recent years as part of an emerging experimental field. Interesting, we found this word field here. Okay, has become more common. It could be C. The field is increasingly common. Right. What about the field is conceptually proven? Let's eliminate D. While it says that it's experimental, it says something about a proof of concept study. So it's not going to be D. If you know what a proof of concept study means, it means that it's experimental. They don't yet know. What about A? Well, this just doesn't really make sense at all. Characteristically devoted. So now we've got a battle between B and C. Okay, the field is increasingly common. Well, actually, it says here that 3D model printing of patients' hearts has become more common in recent years as part of an emerging experimental field. Emerging, nascent, experimental field. What about promising? So this means experimental. This is a synonym. Oh, sorry, emerging. This is a synonym. So now we're looking for something about it being promising. Well, it's been successfully used. To cut a long story short, the answer is B. The answer is B. And as I said, good, smiley faces. This was, yeah, cool, good. Good. The real trick there was that the printing of the hearts had become more common, but the field itself was not becoming increasingly common. So that was the trick. The other ones you could eliminate. Then it was up to B, looking at those synonyms. And as I said, Pte Reading is all about vocabulary. So the word like nascent means something that's emerging, something that's, well, emerging is probably the only synonym I can think of. Cool, all right, let's keep going. Let's do multiple choice, choose multiple answers. It looks very similar, except what you'll notice is that there are squares here, not circles. And what you can do in this one is you can tick more than one. Let's think about scoring, because we need to understand how this task is scored so that we can maximize our overall scores on test day. First of all, suppose a question has 4 answer options. So it's got 4 answer options, A, B, C, and D. Let's suppose that A and B are correct. So C and D are wrong. A and B are correct, C and D are wrong. If you select A and B, you'll get 2 points, or you'll get 100%. If you select A, you'll get 1 point, or you'll get 50%, which is still pretty good. And no points are lost for not selecting B. So you can just choose one answer, that's fine. If you select B, you will score 1 point or 50%, and you won't lose any points for not selecting A. That's fine. You can be cautious, in other words. If you select A, B, and C, well, A and B were correct, but C was wrong, so you'll get 2 minus 1, you'll get 50%. And if you select A, B, C, and D, you will get 0 points. 0 is the minimum score. You can't go below 0 points. Right, what's the method here? The method is pretty similar to the other one. You need to read the question prompt. You need to read the answer options. You need to read the text. But this is the really critical part here. Find the answer option in the text. Now it's going to be written in a different way. It won't be written word for word the same. They'll use synonyms and they'll phrase it differently. And when you find it in the text, does it say the same thing? In other words, does the answer option say the same thing as the text? And then you just repeat this ad nauseum. Let's do one. Whoops, I'm going to move this thing here. All right, I'm just going to come back to me for a second. I just did that because I made this question about a year ago and I've completely forgotten what the answers were. And so that one actually took me 4 minutes, or about 3.5 minutes after I was sort of mucking around. Close to 4 minutes though. That's tough, by the way. That's tough. I'm just going to go to the chat. If you want another minute, say yes. If you want one more minute. Good. I agree. Let's do one more minute. All right. I'm going to go through this with you and I'm going to apply the method. So it's just a generic question prompt, and it's which of the following are true. So some of these will be true and some of them will be false. So we need to find the true ones. We need to, first of all, what we need to do, we'll look at A. We need to find where in the text this is. Okay, and we need to confirm, does it say the same thing as the text, in which case we'll tick it, or does it say something different? It says twins who had disparate histories, including medical, showed the greatest DNA variances. Now, there's a key word here, history. I saw that before. Okay, yeah. Here's the passage. Here's the part of the passage that we need to read. Sorry for my... Okay. Whoops, I've skipped a bit, but anyway. Okay, I want you to read this. Do these two say the same thing or something different? Sorry, ask yourself one question. Do these two say the same thing? Yes or no? I'm guessing that this is DNA variances. Just let me check that chat. Yes or no? What have you got there? Yes. Good. Nice. In fact, they do say the same thing, but in different words. Let's look at how. This says disparate histories, which means separate histories. This says the twin pairs who had spent less of their lifetime together. In other words, disparate histories. And including medical, they showed the largest differences or showed the greatest DNA variances. So what we're going to do is we are going to say that, yes, I like A. I'm going to tick that. Now we're going to continue and we're going to do this with B. So I'm sorry if you already know the answers, but let's go through it just to confirm because this is hard. Monozygotic twins were dissimilar early in life, but showed significant DNA differences later in life. First of all, if you know anything about biology, monozygotic twins are identical twins. So the idea that they're dissimilar doesn't make much sense. So already I've become a bit suspicious about B. I'm not very happy with B, but I want to make sure. So monozygotic twins were dissimilar early in life, but showed significant DNA differences later in life. So monozygotic twins were epigenetically indistinguishable during their early years. Do these say the same thing? No. It means they're almost exact. Here it's saying they're indistinguishable. They're almost exactly the same. Here they're saying that they're dissimilar. They're not similar. So that's no. Fine. Now we move on to C. Let's confirm or disconfirm. Both types of twins substantiate the effects of human epigenetics. So both types of twins. Well, here it's talking about one type of twin and the other type of twin show evidence of epigenetic influence in humans. So does this sentence here say the same thing as this sentence, this statement here? Yes or no? Let's have a look at that chat. What do you reckon? What do you reckon? Yeah, good. I agree with you. I agree. I think they do. Yes, nice. Good. Good, good, good. So we're going to tick C. Let's go to D. D says comparing fraternal twins is the best way to distinguish environmental epigenetics. Okay, this says direct comparisons of identical twins constitute an optimal model for interrogating environmental epigenetics. So there's our statement that we have to read, this first sentence, in fact. This says fraternal twins. Now, if you go down here, well, I don't know if you know this or if it's in the text. It should be in the text. Fraternal twins are the ones that are non-identical, different. But this one's talking about identical twins. So the answer to this one is going to be no, because this should be comparing identical would be correct. But this one said something about fraternal. So I'm not going to choose D. Finally, I move to E, which asks me says there are an abundance of singleton-based studies. This says DNA sequence differences that would be abundant. They just don't say the same thing. They just say completely different things. So I'm hoping, I haven't checked the answers, I'm hoping that the answers are very good. A and C. Who got A and C, by the way? Who got A and C? Somebody said, oh my God. So I'm guessing that's a yes. All right, a few people got 1 out of 2. That's cool. That means you got 50%. That's not bad. That's not bad. Someone got a 0, but look, I've got to admit, I don't think you'll get it that hard in the PT. That was an absolute ripper, and I apologize. I'm a cruel person. I'm a cruel person. Right. Reorder paragraphs. Hopefully this won't be as cruel. You'll get 2 or 3 of these. You need to put the paragraph into the correct sequence by dragging and dropping it. And you can move it around, but that doesn't help. We need a method. Method is this. We need to find the independent sentence. We need to find, number 1, the sentence that stands alone. We need to find the sentence that does not need any other sentences to make sense. You have to imagine it like this. Imagine you took those 5 sentences and you put them all on the table. And you pick them up one by one and you looked at it out of context. So you just look at that sentence without the other sentences. There should be one that will just make sense. So if you pick it up and look at it, you go, that makes sense. The other ones won't make any sense. You'll pick it up and you'll think it's referring back to something I don't understand. Potentially there are 2 independent sentences. We'll deal with that in a second. What you need to do also is use your knowledge of subject, verb, object, because information in the object is going to transfer to the subject of the following sentence. And this object will go to the subject of the following sentence. And this object will go to the following subject of the following sentence. This is how sentences link. This is how ideas flow. This is how you build a good paragraph, by the way. You can also use your knowledge of grammar, like and the, or if it says something like this, we know that that's referring back to something. Yes, there's probably more. It's all about sentence flow. Check the paragraph for meaning. Let's do this one here. All right, I'm just going to check how you guys are going there. Okay. I think tonight's been like the hardest mock test ever. I'm going to give you another minute to get this right. I'm going to give you a hint, by the way. The first sentence is B. First sentence is B. All right, let's have a look at those answers, because this is an interesting one. It's a bit of a trick. I'm going to show what's going on here. I'm going to do it in reverse. So I'm going to show you the answers first. I'm going to show you why the answers are the way they are. Fine. So let's first find the independent sentence. This one is tempting because it starts with a computer, but read the sentence. It doesn't really make sense. Imagine if you picked this sentence up and looked at it out of context. It says, a computer pores through thousands or even millions of audio files and their transcriptions and learns which acoustic features correspond to which typed words. So grammatically, that sentence is independent. It is an independent sentence, but in terms of meaning, is that a good first sentence for a paragraph? The answer is no, because it just doesn't make much sense. It still requires other sentences to surround it to give it meaning. So let's look at the second sentence, B. This is a better one. Listen to this one. It has meaning. It says speech recognition systems, such as those that convert speech to text on cell phones, are generally the result of machine learning. This one, what? No sense. This one makes sense. So we put this one here as number one, because also here instead, no. And it also says their system, so it can't be that one. But now researchers, no. The system then learns. Well, which system? So it can't be that one either. So we found our independent sentence. Although there were two independent sentences, this one makes sense. And it says speech recognition systems, such as those that convert speech to text on cell phones, are generally the result of machine learning. Here we go. Now we find the object going to the subject of the next sentence. Machine learning. A computer pores through thousands or even millions of audio files and their transcriptions and learns which acoustic features correspond to which typed words. But now researchers have developed a new approach to training speech recognition systems that doesn't depend on transcription. Okay, but now this one doesn't depend on transcription. Instead, their system analyzes correspondences between images and spoken descriptions of those images, as captured in a large collection of audio recordings. The system then learns which acoustic features, so it's talking about spoken descriptions or sounds, audio recordings, acoustic features. You can see how the ideas are flowing from one to the other. To cut this short, the answer is B, A, D, C, and then E. Did anybody get bad C, E as their answer? Because if you did, oh, nice. Nice. Okay, somebody got one sentence wrong. Somebody got one sentence wrong, which means you got, in fact, means two of them would have been out of order because you can't just get one wrong. It means the other one would have been wrong. So you got 3 out of 5 or 60%. That's all right. That's still pretty good. 2 out of 5, so you got 40%. Sure, that's all right. That's all right. Yeah, they score if you line them up correctly. So if you lined up 3 and 3, which means the 2 were wrong, you would get 3 out of 5, which is 60%. Okay, Mark Anthony's got a good question here, by the way. Reorder paragraph is a good task because it teaches you how to structure paragraphs. You should apply the same technique to your essays. When you're constructing your essay paragraphs, you want the first sentence to flow into the next sentence, into the next sentence. This is your written discourse score. This is the computer assessing the way that you link your sentences together in terms of meaning and flow. So don't just look at reorder paragraphs as a reading task. It's really very much a writing task as well. Cool. All right, let's push on, shall we, to fill in the blanks. 4 or 5 of these, you just have to drag and drop the word into the gap. This is quite short, this one. The one I'm going to show you is a bit longer. So, first thing you do is scan, read the text to get an idea of the theme. You want to know what it's about. Is it about computer science? Is it about, I don't know, what did we look at before? Twins? Is it about volcanoes? Because when you see the theme, your brain will automatically start to generate the vocabulary, the related vocabulary for that theme, about volcanoes or twins or whatever it is. So have a quick look at it. 2 and 3, I'm beginning to think that that's a really quite a refined skill. What you can do is you can look at the gap and you can determine what type of word has to go in the gap. For example, if it says a something house, we've got an article a, we've got the noun house, we're therefore missing an adjective. Then you can look below and you can see the adjectives and you'll know which one to put in there. That's a pretty refined skill, I've got to say. The real key to this one here is, well, it should say number 4. I always leave this. Number 4, what's the collocation? What's the word combination? What's the natural sounding phrase? That's what this one is all about. Here we go. All right, that's 2 minutes on the nose. Let's have a look here. All right, let's go through the answers. You should have had enough time there. Here we go. So, all right, 5 billion years from now, the sun will have grown into a giant red star more than 100 times larger than its current size. It will also experience an intense something loss. Brighter loss? No. Weight loss? Okay, this is possible. Weight loss? Burst loss? No. Heavier loss? Engulf? No. Impact loss? No, not really. Or mass loss? We've got 2 options there. Fine. Through a very strong stellar wind, the end product of its evolution 7 billion years from now will be a tiny white dwarf star. So, okay, it could be weight or it could be mass because it's tiny, okay? So it could lose weight or it could lose size in mass. This will be about the size of the Earth, but much, okay, is it going to be much brighter? That's possible. Or is it going to be much heavier? That's also possible. So we can't really decide yet. 1 teaspoon of white dwarf material weighs about 5 tons. Okay, so I'm tempted now to say that number 2 is going to be heavier because it's talking about weight. And I'm tempted now to say that the first one's going to be mass loss. Fine. This metamorphosis will have a dramatic, well, I know that dramatic impact is the collocation there. And number 4, Mercury and Venus, for instance, will be engulfed. That's the only word that could possibly fit there grammatically. I hope my answers are correct, by the way. Mass, heavier, impact, and engulfed. How did you go? Cool, let me show you again. Mass, heavier, impact, engulfed. All right, good. Nice. That was, okay, this may be known as the most difficult Pte reading test ever, but it's good, it's good practice. Cool, last one, reading and writing fill in the blanks. 5 or 6 of these, you have to make a word choice. One of these words will be accurate, the others will be grammatically possible, but inaccurate in terms of meaning. In other words, only one will be precise. This task tests your understanding of meaning, eliminate options that you know are imprecise, read each sentence, inserting each of the options one by one, and listen to the way the sentence sounds. Choose the option that sounds best in the sentence in terms of precision. All right, I'm just going to check you how you're going there. All right, so Ballinger, you need to click on the this, Ballinger. If If you can't see the screen properly, you need the YouTube live link. It's just for paid members, actually. You can click that link. All right, 30 more seconds. Here we go. Click that link if you can't see the screen properly. Okie dokie, let's go through the answers here. Fine, let me just show you what the answers are and why. So, you develop a prototype. You develop a prototype, and it's a next. You need to know what it is. It's a next generation lithium sulfur battery. So that is not a paradigm. It's not an archetype, and it's not an exemplar. It's a prototype. Cool. What about number two? The batteries would have 5 times the energy density. Energy density is a collocation there, actually. And here we go, the new design, blah, 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 blah. Something about batteries by preventing the degradation of the battery caused by the loss of material within it. That is the precise word there, not dwindling, not collapse, not withering, degradation. Finally, digestion is the word here because it's talking about the small intestine, and you should have read that to realize that it was about digestion. So let me just quickly recap the answers here. Prototype, density, degradation, and digestion. If you got those, is it a miracle or is it you are just smart? Nice. Good. Well done.